Hi, I'm Professor Render. This is a Link to the Past randomizer daily race here on Speed Gaming number 3. Little something to alongside RTA in Japan over on the main channel. We're playing with Open Boots and Map and Compass Shuffle. These are all just mixed together. So Open Boots, we start with the boots on our feet, and it's open world state, so no escape sequence. And Map and Compass Shuffle, meaning that the maps and compasses in all of the dungeons are considered wild, and you have to pick those up along. You possibly pick them up along the way. I have here So15, John Snoo, Hitman 1382, and Zeke Highwind. And I'm joined with Captain D. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Professor Render. Still kind of cooling off after that festive weekly we had back on Saturday night, and it was a fantastic seed. Looks like things are just about ready to go in the race time room. We've got a whopping 20 racers here tonight.
Yeah, last time when I was checking, it was only 19, so it looks like someone snuck in at the last minute here. But yeah, Christmas was nice. I mean, I wasn't there to do that 2018 festive. I mean, it's a nice little throwback. Something to hold off while the devs are currently busy doing things. Yeah, that's all it really is. Just some busy stuff, busy work.
Nothing like a little blast from the past to get you in the holiday mood regardless. We have been given the green light in the race time room, so it should catch up on Restream in just a hot second here. Are there any particular things you'd like to see in this Professor Render? Any, nasty item placements?
I would rather see more, interesting divergence from the start, rather than just any, bad placements or anything like that.
So, immediate Dark World access plus a bow. Got it.
Something similar.
Well, it might be wish granted. We already got a glove out of Link's house. Good start. But that is... Alright, we got gloves. We got a rupee in the... oh my god, that Leafeon sprite is adorable. And a single rupee in the Sanctuary.
Knowing Zeke, this doesn't surprise me.
Alright. Bonk Rocks is some bombs. And the tier 1 tree pool was green rupees. Alright, Green Pendant is in Desert Palace tonight, while John and Hitman check the Uncle, and it's a vanilla sword.
Nice.
Sasra's Closet containing a heart container, sticks, and the map of Swamp Palace. That'll be good for later.
So the interesting thing about that, considering yesterday's daily where it was vanilla swords, that some people might think, oh, there's some Seablade going on here. Maybe, I don't know. I'm the one who rolled this, so you can write all blame to me.
And we will if that ends up happening. Alright, we got an Ether Medallion in the Thieves Hideout. There wasn't anything of significance. Actually, there was. Lost Woods had a shirt, so Zeke's going to be running on Blue Mail already. Back of Escape's got the key, a shield, and a heart piece. So the key is in the back, so now everything down to Zelda's Cell is perfectly in logic. And Zeke's going to go ahead and do the cack sweep now. And luckily, I believe he did find a bomb drop somewhere, so plenty of bombs to clear the place out. And we do get a fire rod outside of Blind's hideout, so that is an early light source. Very convenient. And a Quake Medallion. Well, it looks like everybody's getting all their coins today. In before both the other dungeons, both the Medallion dungeons are Bombos. I think that was a tier 2 tree pull from... is it So15, Professor Render?
So, yeah.
So, thank you. Yeah, the tier 2 tree pull looked to be red rupees.
Actually, I take that back. It might be T-Show, if I'm remembering this right.
Oh, okay. I need to look at that too. That was a compass on Lumberjack Ledge. So, we're not getting that today, thankfully. And Zelda's cell had a heart container. There's a hook shot in the bottom of the well. All right, well, things are starting to shape up. With glove and hook shot, we're only a lamp away from all the way to East Death Mountain access, and that's pretty crazy. There's a moon pearl in the chicken hut. So, remember how I said early Dark World plus a bow? Well, I might have been calling this right on the mark today. And there's the Bombos medallion in the back of the tavern. So all coins in 4 minutes. Unfortunately, though, he is short on bottle vendor cash, so he's going to have to come back later for that. Rupees have been kind of sparse this opener. But hey, there's a mirror on the library. This is screaming Swamp Palace right now. We're literally a hammer away from Swamp being, and flippers away from Swamp being almost full clearable. And Race Game's got a big 20. Everyone's kind of retracing each other's steps for a bit. Chat saying there was a TR map in Dark Cross. That'll be useful for identifying pendants and crystals. Yeah, for those not familiar with... whenever the maps are shuffled, the initial map checks will not reveal the pendants and crystals until the appropriate dungeon map is picked up. So as a result, once we do get Dark World access, we'll be able to see the Swamp and TR dungeon rewards.
Okay, syncs should be now in order. Okay, now I can actually speak.
No worries. It's been a very interesting start. Bottle vendor is junk, though, so Zeke not currently missing anything significant. Oh! Okay. Titan's mitts in Mini Moldorm Cave and a red shirt.
Okay, so that Leafeon is looking like more like a pulsal than anything.
A plusle, yeah.
A plusle, yeah, a plusle, yeah. Although from the front sprite, that is.
Yeah.
But so we have, I consider it partial Dark World access because we don't have a way to get over to the the East Dark World yet to pod and catfish.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate, but that is still a good number of checks to work with at the moment. Looks like Zeke is actually going from Mini Moldorm Cave towards Desert in this case. And he is going to grab the extra money, and which makes a lot of sense because A, Zora's been in Logic since Link's house, and B, we have Village of Outcasts access already, so we're going to be spending a little bit more money soon. And Titan's Mitts gives us a nice early King's Tune check here from Zeke. So it looks like the Hyrule Castles play has not panned out for anybody quite yet.
Yeah. So at that point, I feel like at this point you have to go ahead and rush over to the Dark World. It was in from here because as soon as you have those mitts and Moon Pearl access, you're just gonna have to go straight into the Dark World, even though it's not the best Dark World you can really get out of it because you don't have any flippers or a hammer or anything of that sort.
Well, here's the funny thing: Skull Woods is full clearable. We already have Fire Rod.
Yeah. The only one that can actually full clear it, like amongst the two runners, would have to be Hitman after going into after getting the checks that check out of the way.
Yeah. So now has the Titan's mitts too, so he can go and do it.
Minus the sword, which since it's so early, i.e. from the uncle, so it would make sense if Tisho were to go up there, to go up to Uncle, that would give him the ability to clear that out.
All right, well, we're going to see So go to Ice Rod Cave, so this is new information for us. This is quite a fascinating start we have. Like, as I mentioned before, we're only a lamp or a flute away from being able to do a lot in Death Mountain. And we can full clear Skull Woods. We can do just about everything except Thieves Town Big. So there is definitely room for divergence. We've got a good chunk of Eastern because of that Fire Rod acting as an improvised light source.
Yeah, because that is a possible. So if the big key were to be anywhere except for the its vanilla location, that means the back is in play. Back is in logic, though we have no bow, so that can't really be doing much. There's Ice Rod is in the chess game.
Ah, great. Turtle Rock's a pendant.
I mean, it's well, we do at least it's not green pendants according from T-Show.
That's true, because yeah, desert is we do know desert is green, but yeah, I can already see where this is going. All the coins, Titan's mitts, ice and fire rods, yeah, TR's a pendant. Calling it now.
I mean, that seems to be the way of the sword almost, or way of the hero. That's OOT.
Yeah, it used to be called that. I think in Skyward Sword it's called Way of the Sword, though.
I think it was also called that in Breath of the Wild.
It could be.
Or something like that.
I think Breath of the Wild, it's Trial of the Sword.
Trial of the Sword, that's what I meant.
Alright, so John and Hitman now have all their coins. Oh, there's the Thieves Town small key. That's not something you want to see in the first 4.
Yeah, so I'll actually drop this bit of information as well. For those who are not aware of what the whole MC Shuffle thing is all about, there actually is some merit to this particular shuffle. Because maps and compasses are shuffled, and the game doesn't, and because the devs don't want you to cheat to make those maps and compasses completely useless. What they did, also flippers in Thieves Town.
Remember how I said earlier that the game was Screaming Swamp Palace?
Yeah, and also not to mention, and also as an added thing, Aga is no longer required for Dark World access because we have the flippers.
Not anymore. Alright, so Hitman's chosen to sequence break Death Mountain now, gets a hard container out of Spectacle Rock, and it looks like Zeke's going to grab some extra change.
Normally you don't see this in play except for Inverted, but this is actually a little bit interesting. Looking like to have a bit of trouble to start off, though.
Alright, Hera Big Key is in the pantry, so no need to worry about the basement just yet. It's in logic anyway, thanks to... Or not in logic, but it's doable thanks to Fire Rod. There's the TR map in the Hera... It was the Thieves Town map in the Dark Cross. TR is here in Hera, first floor.
Unfortunately for Zeke, not getting anything worth of... not getting anything worth of the Arrow game. Just looks like it's not comfortable, at least not practiced up on the particular strat that Zeke was trying to pull off.
Which is a bit unfortunate because money is certainly an issue right now, given that we've got many triple-digit rupee checks in play right now. We've got Zora. Zeke's, I think, checked chess game already, but there are still quite a number of high rupee checks that would need to be considered.
Yeah. Okay, so what I was gonna say though earlier was that because the devs don't want you to just don't want you to think that the maps and compasses are completely useless because they're doing that. So what they did was you don't know anything about the pendants and crystals right from the off. That's why you didn't see an immediate map check
Mm-hmm.
from R4 runners. The maps reveal the rewards, and it all reveals the prizes that you earn either when you enter the respective dungeon or if you just check the maps. That's why on the top right, next to the top left, excuse me, next to the magic meter, there's a little icon that says C, which means it's a crystal, or P, which is a pendant.
Oh, is that if you get the compass for that area?
The map.
Oh, the map. Okay.
Yeah, the compasses only give you the item
Item
tracker,
count.
and also reveal what boss it is. And it, but the only but that only point is like not that's only a moot point in modes that isn't a boss shuffle, which is practically every single one of them except for those two. um,
Yeah, I had mentioned earlier about the maps being responsible for identifying the dungeon wards, but I did not know the pendant crystal text has been added in.
yes, this was a recent addition, and Jon Snow getting a nice hook speed Herapod.
Yeah, it looks like Hitman's checking Hera Basement real quick just to get the item out of the way, because it looks like there's an item down there. Hera was a crystal.
Yes.
So,
And so is Thieves Town. Now, the one thing that the C and P identifiers doesn't tell you about is whether or not it's green pendant or it's a 5/6. It only just tells you if it's just a crystal or a pendant.
then we'll definitely see for sure when Hitman opens up his pause menu.
This was actually in regards to Thieves Town, not or I think it was not Thieves Town.
So it's just found a hammer in Paradox Cave.
Okay, so a lot of the world has been opened up.
A lot of the world's been opened up, but it's still out of logic without a lamp or a flute.
And this is interesting. So Zeke is actually going ahead to check the first chest of Swamp. Now, considering where the hammer is at, this actually becomes a little unfortunate, but I can see merit in checking that early if you, from his perspective, if you could just find a progression, or the hammer from that particular spot. But of course, we know that's from our point of view, it's not the case. It's just 20 rupees though.
Yeah, and with hammer in tow, so Swamp is now full clearable, Thieves Town's full clearable, Skull Woods is full clearable. Suddenly, the game's actually pretty much exploded.
Yes. So that also means too, as far as we know, like in regards to the pendants, or at least to the amount of prizes that we know about, Bow is still up in the air, Samari is still up in the air, provided that the big key is not on the right side. Flute's still up in the air, and that should be it. Speaking of Flute.
You were saying?
Yeah, speaking of Flute, there it is.
All right, so that's our mountain access. So that puts all the stuff we found up in the mountain, the hammer and the hammer, and we also found a bottle as well in the mountain. We found a green goo bottle in Hookshot Cave. I think another bottle showed up too, because So's got 2 bottles.
There was also the Turtle Rock map that popped up on the mountain as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was in Hera first floor. But
yes.
Yeah, early Flute, and with Mirror in tow, that's another significantly large number of checks. We could actually go into Misery Mire.
Yes.
Actually, Zeke cannot, because he's currently still missing a sword.
Yeah, but as far as the collective knowledge is concerned, we can enter Mire.
But yeah, that's pretty ridiculous for, what are we, 17 and a half minutes in?
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is something that I roll. Normally, I'm not that nice, so it's gonna eventually things are going to get rude. I can assure you.
Well, you said you wanted things to be nice, even, not even, I should say, but a nice, easy to split for our runners, and it looks like you're going to get your wish considering what's available to us.
Yeah, the nice thing about this opening is the fact that that there's a lot of divergence right out of the gates.
All right, no specific items on Bumper Ledge, so Cape will not be an issue. Spike Cape's still out of play until we get said Cape, and 4 hearts is still a little rough, actually. I think you would need a bottle and or half magic at this hard level, because, yeah, we're still pretty... Zeke is pretty hard-starved because of not getting all the... there are a couple of heart containers up on the mountain and in Hyrule Castle, so that's where Zeke's health discrepancy is coming from.
Getting into Hype Cave, though, that will lead to Tisha being able to get into Mire, but still no sword.
Right, Hitman's now picking up Flute.
And with this... Go ahead.
And Hitman, interestingly, has not yet picked up Mitts, I don't think, so Hitman's Dark World access came from getting Hammer. Pod and Skull Woods are big, are 5/6s.
Okay, so it's still... And it looks like from the map check, that Turtle Rock is, yeah, in fact, a crystal, not a pendant.
What a shock.
But Swamp is.
Of course, because we could full clear Swamp already.
Yeah, I reckon. I guess so.
Makes sense.
So right away we're already looking at Ice and Swamp, Ice and Mire being the Ice, Mire, and Eastern being the remaining pendants.
Well, Ice. I think we saw Ice in that map check, and Ice was also a crystal.
Oh, if that's the case, then it's only Mire and Eastern remaining.
Yeah, Mire and Eastern are the only 2 toss-ups. So we could... Either way, we're looking for Kane, so that in particular doesn't really matter. But we could... Well, we still need a bow regardless, too, because Pod's a crystal, so... We need them both, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference which one's the pendant or crystal from an item perspective.
And since you were mentioning earlier about the low rupee counts, look at where Zeke's going.
Yeah,
Going over to...
There's been a few 3 hundos popping up over the course of the Dark World, so that's... Everybody's been able to finally get that money handicap averted.
Yeah, this was interesting considering Zeke wanted to get some money off of the Arrow game, but didn't. However, there's not really much that Sora has given out. It's just an extra bomb pack.
All that for 3 bombs. Meanwhile, 20... What dig count are we at? We're at 25 digs for a heart piece. No thanks.
Something like that, yeah.
You know,
So-
in Metroid Prime Randomizer, we have a similar, like, count the number of squares thing for a maze, where the maze is randomly generated, and it can be, like, anything from, like, 15 to 55 squares.
I'm guessing this is a texture thing.
No, it's a actual, like, puzzle to get the item.
Oh.
You have to go through an electric maze.
See, I have been meaning to play a Metro game for some time. I've been watching a playthrough of Metroid Dread. I've been watching to play for Metroid Dread. I've been wanting to play Super Metroid for some time. I mean, I have it loaded up on a jailbroken Super NT on an SD card, so if anything, I could just pop that in and call it a day.
If I could recommend the Prime Games, the Prime Games from a casual perspective, I would definitely recommend the trilogy version if you still have a Wii U.
My brother had a Wii U, and I never had one. I reckon he may have sold it off.
Bummer. All right, well, we're seeing everybody kind of retrace steps here, except for John, who is currently going through Skull Woods real quick. And we know this is a red crystal, so... Can't you take me someplace nice? The chest asks so.
Yeah, so the purple chest doesn't want you. The purple chest won't follow you through into entrances. Unlike the smith. which makes sense considering the smith has to go into an entrance in order to be dropped off, while the purple chest does not. So that logic does check out there.
To answer a question, chat, the stars next to the Skullwood and Pod crystals and Desert Pendant indicate that they're they're basically the special MacGuffins needed to unlock extra checks. For Pod and Skullwoods, they're the red crystals, which are needed to use the big red bomb to access Pyramid Fairy. In Desert Palace's case, the green pendant lets you get an extra item off of Sahasrahla once you turn that in.
Yes, it's just a little thing that identified this on the tracking end.
All right, we got a map of Desert from the Sick Kid, which unfortunately is not going to do us any good because pretty much everybody knows that Desert's a green pendant at this point.
Yeah, and the ironic thing about this too is that that this also kind of carries into Emo Tracker, where how it is similarly set up, where there's a little indicator identifying if it's a 5/6 or a green pendant.
Indeed, although Zeke is going through Tower of Hera and is going to be a bit disappointed here because he does not have a valid weapon to actually take down Moldorm at this time.
There is one in the general vicinity, though.
That is true. He's going to get it in a second because he does have hooks, so he can reach East Death Mountain and pick up Hammer out of Upper Paradox. Or is it Lower Paradox?
It's one of those two. I would just kind of lump those all together as Paradox Cave, and in my case, I like to break them up as bottom to top 5 because that's kind of how you see it, regardless of where you enter it from.
That's fair. All right, so we're getting a desert check from Hitman courtesy of Flute Mirror. And it looks like Desert is not boots locked tonight. Not that it matters because we started with them. All right, so Big Key's on the right side. So it's going to be a bit of a walk. But yeah, Zeke's going to be really happy to see the hammer here. Probably going to waltz right back to Hera.
Yeah, considering that Zeke went in without that vanilla sword, it only makes sense to it'll actually be really nice for Zeke overall, because at the moment that vanilla sword that we saw from Uncle was it's the only one that we know of.
Yeah, so there's still it's still kind of a problem that we haven't found Master Sword. Like, it could be that legendary, Master Sword on pedestal, 2 swords on tablets nonsense. I doubt it, but it could be.
Which would, the Master Sword on the pedestal thing would add to the fact that there might be just a really bad case of seed bleed with yesterday's restream.
Right, the vanilla sword seed. Alright, so John's done clearing out Skullwoods. Didn't see any additional items of note. And no book, so we can't do my favorite post-Skullwoods activity and read the pedestal.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things about having Mirren book at that point, because you're able to raid pedestal after the Skullwoods clear. It's ease of access.
Certainly. Hitman, in the meantime, is proceeding to wrap up Desert, is going to be retrieving that green pendant in a second. Probably will... I wouldn't be surprised if he takes it to Sahasrahla and then just makes a play right to Eastern afterwards, or starts out at Pod, sees if it's bow locked, and acts accordingly, because he does not have a bottle, so he cannot potion glitch. Chat is saying that John got a bloomerang in Skullwoods, which could help us check stun prizes.
Yeah, it won't, however, be able to be illegal for a splash lead, which, considering the common item pickups between everyone else, is more of a moot point. But in Jon Snoo's case, has not found flippers yet, so they're really that's the only thing he could really, if it was a red crystal, he could set it up. However, I think you would still need a Samaria or something to augment the Ancilla table. Over for the Ancilla table.
All right. Well, Zeke is harapotting his harapotting his way up to Moldorm, finally finishing that fight that got rudely disrupted by a lack of hammer. Thieves Town Big Chest having a heart piece.
Now, I mentioned this to someone who's actually getting into the to a friend of mine who's actually playing the rando in a server that I know about. And I mentioned to him, I think this was one of he got a similar fight for this, but he was doing a hammer fight, hammer bouldering fight. And I mentioned to him that the hammer is very unwieldy to use. It does deal tempered sword damage, but the hitbox is so small and very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so Hospital only has a heart piece, so nothing of importance on Green Pendant tonight.
Now, the way that I kind of like to think about it in regards to the up and down positions is that Link holds the hammer up from his left hand. So if you think about it as Link holding the sword from, is it his left hand or is it right? I can't tell. Oh, it's a case scenario.
Okay. That's a pretty big deal. That makes Myra a full clearable dungeon for anybody who would have a sword. Because unfortunately, so does still not have a sword.
I mentioned earlier that the blue boomerang or the red boomerang is nice. The red boomerang is nice for splatulation. That's part of that puzzle.
Oh, okay. Alright, so unfortunately, So's map check didn't reveal any new information since it did not give us the Meyer reward. It looks like So's just going to go ahead and prioritize Crystal Dungeons for now and see if anything pops up, which is not a bad play given the circumstances. Alright, Zeke's checking Super Bunny. I think we've seen this already.
I reckon so.
I'm also not sure if we've seen the Turtle Rock Medallion entrance. By the looks of it, nobody's gotten around to that yet.
Not like that really matters in the slightest, considering that we have all medallions.
It doesn't, you're right. Although, John does not. I'm trying to think. Ether was in Thieves' Hideout, and Bamos was in Thieves' Town not Thieves' Town, Village of Outcasts somewhere, if memory serves. Alright, Zeke's grabbing that bottle out of Hookshot Cave. Oh, there were two bottles out of Hookshot Cave. Blue and green.
That must have been it. Also, we saw Icebreaker from Tisha.
Very nice.
Now, one thing I've heard a lot of different explanations for this. Simply put, it abuses a glitch, a specific minor glitch called door state extension. All it really entails is that if there's something blocking the door for whatever reason, oh hey, there's another sword.
Oh, Ice Palace paying out dividends for So at the moment, because that's gonna allow him to go to Meyer now.
Yep, and also got the rail clip.
Very nice. And to correct myself, the Bombus was in the back of the tavern, as chat points out. So yep, you got me there.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, if there's something that's blocking, Link when he's trying to get out of a door, for some weird reason, the game will just extend that state of the door past any collision.
And boy, are we glad we discovered that, because Ice Palace is normally a terrible dungeon. Alright, looks like Zeke's gonna go ahead and do the desert play first, and then, unfortunately, without a sword, can't go into Meyer, so that plan is gonna be put on hold for the foreseeable future.
So, I linked to some. I'm linking this. I put a link down in the chat about door state extension. It's very simple. It's a very simple language. But the most common the most common one is Icebreaker.
I'm now currently staring at John's screen because that blind pun truly resonated with me.
What was it?
I can't handle searching. Too many links.
I guess too many tabs.
Oh, blind. If you think this is too many links, wait until you see Four Swords Adventure.
Or no, not just scratch that. 4 swords. Straight up 4 swords.
Or Four Swords, or the later end of Minish Cap. Take your pick. Alright, meanwhile, John's cleared out Village of Outcasts, So has finished up Ice. So is looking really good right now to just start bulldozing through Crystal Dungeons. Actually, I'm trying to think, what are we looking for at this point? Actually, So is literally just looking for bow and Master Sword, and that's it. And now that we know where another sword is, So could just waltz right to Hyrule Castle and pick it up.
And so yeah, considering with the Samaria, that we had Samaria amongst the collective knowledge, it is just bow, and practically that's it. Because yes, we actually do have 2 swords in the pool, considering Tisho found one in ice, and the other one is in the vanilla uncle.
And the funny thing is, we don't even need Master Sword to clear the dungeons out. We just needed to defeat Ganon, so we could very well have a sword in GT if Bo shows up first. We might see runners even do that if they're desperate for progression, if they want to just clear out GT instead.
Actually, so the add on that one too many links thing, in Costo Dulo, I think I'm saying that right. Is also bringing up Triforce Heroes as an example.
Oh yeah.
The red, green, and blue links all stack. I think, and there's actually a sprite for that. Just those 3 links stacked on top of each other.
I am not the slightest bit surprised at that.
Yeah, it's funny, and it's funny. It's clever, for one thing.
Wow, I think Zeke basically got the last possible frame of taking out Lamolus in one cycle. Well done.
Yeah. That was really well put together. Green Pendant picked up for Zeke, although it isn't gonna be turning into anything important. You might as well get it out of the way because it is Green Pendant.
Unfortunately, because we have what we have, and so far I think we don't have any logical sequence breaks at the moment, since Flute fixed the mountain problem. We don't need Lamp for anything else we haven't seen, so Bo can actually be in a tremendously large number of places, like Laser Bridge is pretty much as far as it can be at this point.
Yes, that is true. And yeah, because since you mentioned it, Ice Palace was the remaining 5 crystal that we saw earlier. That will have to be updated amongst the other 3 for the sake of completeness. And like we just mentioned earlier, Meyer and Eastern are the only ones remaining. And at that point, with that knowledge for Tisho, I'd say that that if Meyer pops up if that pops up, I was actually going ahead. Actually, someone's actually already kind of starting my thought right now. So if Meyer becomes a pendant, that by extension means biological deduction is the Eastern is required. It is a crystal. Bow can be on one of the pads, on the pad. However, the one thing that kind of that it only becomes required if GT has a bow.
Yeah, if the other bow is bow locked.
Yeah, or if it's in a bow lock, or if it's bow locked. Yeah,
like on Armos Knights, for example.
Yeah.
It looks like Zeke has just decided to. Zeke is mirroring in an interesting spot there. That's one I'm not used to seeing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually kind of interesting to see that mirror position. it could just be it could be a way for Zeke to chain together Pod.
Could be, because, everybody's still looking for the bow, so trying to do Pod and Eastern Bolt together would be ideal, but alternatively, Bo could just be chilling in that first chest in Pod. It's very rare, but I've seen it happen.
Although it looks like Zeke is just opting to go and just do the flute spot anyway. Okay, T-Show going to go ahead and open up Turtle Rock here. And again, it doesn't really matter what the medallion is. We have all three of them. We can actually
enter and full clear the place.
Yeah, basically enter and full clear it. Yes. Oh, so it is so. I thought it was T-Show. I've heard people say T-Show in the past.
Pronunciations are always throwing me off, so sometimes I just make it a point to ask and double check. Because I'm terrible with names, so the last thing I want to do is butcher that on air.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just kind of thought T-Show also was the one, but I mean, even as Azuravan's pointed out, it's also awesome content creator, by the way, awesome streamer runner, by the way. He is going to be one of He is a member of one of the 4 teams that is going to make it has been promoted to the Invite League coming up the next season 5.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, team Oops All Foxes. But yeah, as he's pointing it out, Zuravian saying he's used to it, so it doesn't really affect him that much.
Wow, that was a beautiful kick from So there. TR having a early big key and a French vanilla mirror shield. Thanks, game. Zeke, in the meantime, has picked up Fighter Sword and is quickly zipping through Hyrule Castle. Isn't going to find too much except a couple of extra hearts. But now Zeke can just about almost full clear the game now, too. So this is a very interesting scenario our runners have put themselves in. When you have this much of a game open to you, it basically comes down to who zigs and who zags. Especially since we know that the second sword is in Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's really nice seeing this much divergence. John Steve forgot to.
Alright, we got a Cane of Burna in the TR Vanilla Big Key chest. Which is going to be actually do us some favors because that does put Spike Cave into play with this equipment.
Yeah, and I mean, I think either way, I think you have enough. I think there's enough. That was enough health and bottles to make your way through, because you have a bottle in hand. It was still, if I remember this right, it's still in logic if you have a bottle in there, is in bottle in hands, and I believe 8 hearts, something like that.
I think it's 8 hearts and or invincibility item plus half magic.
Something like that.
Somewhere along that line. It's a couple of different prerequisites. Alright, so Zeke's found the extra hearts from Hyrule Castle. Burn alone is enough even on 3. Ah, fascinating. Probably because you don't need to deactivate the cape to pull stuff. Although you don't need to deactivate the cape to pull stuff anyway, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only thing that Burnout disables is your sword.
Okay. Alright, so we're finishing up TR on So's end. And Zeke is also about to pick up Master Sword out of this lime green Ice Palace that we have here.
I love Palette Shuffle so much.
It's been actually throwing me off because it feels like my computer has got the warm, cold colors basically shuffled in between everybody's restream.
um, yeah, I've grown to love palette shuffles because it makes the game a lot more, it makes the game look a lot more different every single time. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Sure.
But it's something about the change in palettes. Either you get like a very like an almost vanilla-ish palette, but like it's almost like it's like a dusk or something, or you get some like vaporwave pattern, or like make the water like, I don't know, grape or strawberry or whatever, or like Bahama color, like colors like the color of the water in like the Bahamas or something like that.
I getcha. Well, it's not quite bow, but it's a shovel on Laser Bridge.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's a fetch quest, so it's gonna feel pretty bad.
It's an in-logic fetch quest, so it could be progression.
Yeah. Looks like Zeke's gonna go ahead and do a fighter sword IPBJ, which he gets. I'll just hope that he doesn't accidentally get knocked off by that fire bar, and it looks like that's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. All right, we got a try next fight coming up. Everybody's doing pretty solid on hearts now, and everybody's had red mail since like 5 minutes in, so it's been a pretty defensively. Everybody should be pretty chill now from here on out.
Yeah, and there's a nice thing about this was that this, even though Zeke was pretty low on hearts earlier on, he did have that red mail available to him. So basically, you could have just treated it as ludicrous speed.
Pretty much.
Ludicrous speed, for those who are not initiated, is I believe an upcoming or is still currently ladder mode for the Link to the Past Randomizer ladder. Basically, what happens is that you're locked down to 6 hearts. You can't upgrade it. You can't get any upgrades or whatever. There's no rupees. There's no bombs. No arrows. No compasses. But you do have. But every single item in the game is quadrupled. Like their quantities are quadrupled. So 16 mail, 16 swords, that kind of stuff. They also 4 of each inventory item. This is a stretch, but I like to consider it as like, it's not quad damage, it's quad quantity.
That's a good way to describe it.
And what you find out really early is that you get red mail really, really quickly. So it offsets the 6 hearts, the fact that you're only at 6 hearts, all the time. Like, considering that you can pretty much survive for pretty long.
All right, we're getting that spike cape check here from So.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And Zeke, in the meantime, is right around the corner to his Master Sword. John just picked up his ahead of time. Whoa, that's cutting it a little bit close there.
And So warned me about it. He is playing with double heart beeps, which I've been meaning to turn on just as a joke.
I'm waiting for the day when, 3D Zelda randomizer, N64 specifically, loves to have random sound effects for low heart beeps. So I'm imagining something similar when for a Metroid game.
I mean, shuffle sound effects is on. We don't turn it on for race streams for obvious reasons. But when I was playtesting it, oh my, it is hilarious. Some of the sounds it makes.
I think my favorite in Majora's Mask specifically, nice 10 arrows on the shovel spot, by the way, useless. My favorite Majora's Mask randomizer random low heart beep is the postman going, "Yeah!"
And so I like to find some funny stuff when it comes to randos. I'm gonna shout out the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise here. They have red Observus sprites, which could either be like a pretty cool boss or a cool callback, or just something ridiculously funny. And it throws you off every single time because it's intentionally kept a secret from you until you actually encounter Zeramis and the crystal. They also have it so that the Edward's twin harp music track plays some random harp version of a song, which is really cool.
Okay. Admittedly, Final Fantasy is not my area of expertise, so I'm going to take your word for it on that one.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy recently, just getting into the series, and also playing a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I've been like something.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with only Master Sword and no half magic, the Cold Stare fight's a little less than ideal, but the red mail does really just soften the stress a little bit.
Yeah.
Zeke's not having too much trouble anyway. Got 2 Cold Stares down before magic was depleted, so this one should be pretty much a cakewalk.
Yeah, normally if you have like gray mail, this fight is really dangerous. But with the red mail, it's actually not a big deal.
Right, so everybody's still kind of retracing each other's steps here, going through checks. It's I'm starting to think we actually have a bow in what in the Metroid Prime community we would call a dangerous location, as in it's like in its vanilla or French vanilla location, and you have to dive an uncompletable dungeon to get it.
I don't think there's a good proxy for there's not a good flag proxy in Final Fantasy IV free to prize that I can think of, other than maybe K-On! Safe, which just gets rid of a check that assumes that you have access to some way or another. You have access to the underground, or something like that.
All right, let's see where Zeke decides to go. This is probably a Skullwoods Thieves Town clear. So he's going to spend some time clearing this out. Everybody's avoiding Swamp Palace like the plague right now, just because it's a pendant, probably. Which is a shame, because in Map and Compass Shuffle, something we kind of neglected to mention is that because maps and compasses are shoveled, the amount of potential items in every dungeon increases by 2. So as a result, Swamp can now have 8 items.
Okay, so actually, I checked it for myself. It's only for normally you're guaranteed to get to getting a path to get a path to the underground without having to go to the moon first, or basically the lunar planet. Which means you would have to get the darkness crystal first, and then raise the lunar whale in order to gain access to the underground. If that check is turned off.
Okay. All right. At this point, given that we've had access to it for who knows how long at this point, ever since Flippers showed up, I am legitimately thinking this seat is screaming Swamp Palace, Pendant Swamp Palace for these runners.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ways into the game, and it looked really jet early on, and it still kind of is. It's just a matter of when if Swamp is looking very, very juicy. Pedestal, we don't know if it's Mire or something like that, but we will see that information come out from T's show side, or T's. I'm so sorry, on So's side.
Nothing of note so far. And I don't think we've seen the big key, so I don't think this is a God Mire.
Not like it really matters, considering we're in essentially go -1, or essentially go -1 question mark. I say question mark because if this is a crystal, then you don't need to really worry too much about it.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, one way or another, we still need the bow. So
yeah, I'm saying this because I reckon T show. So I keep wanting to say T show. I get my mouth out. I can imagine So being able to mimic clip to ignore that check. Oh, there's the other sword.
Okay, that's a good spot for it. Oh, nice. Another example of what'd you call it? Door warp?
Door state extension.
Door state extension. Thank you.
Yeah, this is one of the cases where this is another example of that door state extension being
I've been seeing
here.
that trick. I've been seeing that used a lot more frequently as of late.
Yeah, and that's a setup where there's actually this now. I will correct myself on this. With the even though you can't, the Dorsey extension is nice. It doesn't often require, like, for Icebreaker, it requires some obstacle to be in the way for the trigger. Mostly because I believe the particular door state extension in question happens to be, I think, just because it's the rail, it's a rail, it's not like a big wall or something. I think. I don't know I don't know the entire specifics about it.
Actually, I want us to bring something interesting of attention here. John has not picked up either of the two, as we now know, pretty important dungeon medallions yet. Hasn't been to. I don't know if he's just missed CAC or maybe we just missed something on his pause menu, but that's going to become a bit of a problem in a minute if John doesn't go back for Ether and Thieves Hideout.
I reckon this is probably this is just a mismark. It must have been a mismark.
Never mind. No need to panic.
Yeah, this must have been a mismark that must have gotten missed from the tracking in.
All right. So in the meantime, is just about wrapping up Meyer. Hasn't had really any too much trouble, but is a bit low on HP, but does definitely, I think, still have that blue potion on hand for an emergency refill.
Yeah. So if So gets a crystal out of here, technically, or no, I take that back. No. You still need the bow out of the way because it's a pod. Never mind.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that means, regardless if it's a pendant or a crystal, head should be dead here.
Well, no. If this is a pendant, then pedestal is still very much alive and well.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant.
So yeah, all eyes on this one here. If this is blue pendant, start raising eyebrows.
Yeah, this could be interesting if this is a pendant. If it's not, then you don't need to. Then you don't. Yes, then that ped consideration is thrown out the window.
I was also gonna laugh if. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so we now know that's. So now we have our pendant crystal knowledge, and I reckon So did not want to see that.
No, absolutely not.
Considering that there wasn't a map to be picked up there.
At this point, if I were these runners after I saw that pendant, I would honestly gun it for Swamp Palace.
You have to gun it for Swamp Palace at that point. Although So has other plans.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't gotten the green pendant, so I'm curious as to this might just be the catfish play. I know this looks like pod. Maybe checking the front door.
Pod, yeah. This is front of pod. So that would actually. So this case I can understand. If you can get a bow early, that is if you can get the bow early, which I think we saw it earlier, it wasn't the case. Then you're good. You don't have to worry about that pedestal like lingering in the back of your mind.
All right, Zeke is done in the meantime with Mothula and is just wrapping up the rest of the Skull Woods checks. We know that he's not going to find anything else of significance back here. But yeah, just about everybody is now in the same state here, or if they're not already, they will be pretty soon. And it just comes down to who finds the bow first.
Okay, so
could be in a couple spots in pod.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I haven't been really paying attention, or if this is actually our first time we've seen this pop up.
I think this is the first time for pod. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to treat it as if this was the first one, and we're actually going to see a hover coming out from So here. This one's really hard, but gets it.
Who needs the potion glitch? He doesn't.
Yeah, that one is really tough. That one's actually one of the more harder of the hovers because you have to change direction midway through the hover.
Twice or less.
Yeah, twice. Whereas the other hovers, you're going in one direction. So it's only a matter of how you if you space your fingers out correctly, and if you can keep the rhythm going.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, without a lamp, we can still get to Dark Basement with Fire Rod only, right?
Yes. That is true.
And what about Dark Maze? Is that in or out?
Out of logic, because
Out,
there's
okay.
there's no torch boxes there.
That's what I thought.
Shovel was pulled off Laser Bridge, yeah, considering he's on Trinix.
Yeah, John wouldn't be... I don't think any runners would be passing up checks at this point, since at the moment they're currently looking for a major item. Unless they were pulling some really crazy gambles.
Yeah, and as Ceruvian's pointing out, yes, it's only the Fire Rod is the Fire Rod is only in like the Ruby base is only in logic with Fire Rod, because for the Ruby basement,
there are torches.
Yeah, because as Ruby's pointing out, for Fire Rod logic to even just be a factor, every single dark room has to have a torch box. So Pod is one of those cases where there's not enough torch boxes. Only this one has enough torch boxes to get through, but the rest of the dungeon does not.
Alright, so just for that from that knowledge alone, we can now effectively say that unless a lamp shows up, Bo is definitely not in Dark Maze.
With the notable exception of Castle Tower, that's actually interesting. Oh, hey, we get the map for this dungeon.
Little late on the bandwagon game.
Yeah, because the reason being is that the C icon just happened to show up right as soon as he gets the map.
Oh yeah, that's right. The C and P icons are a thing. I actually haven't had a chance to actually look for those yet.
Yeah, those actually are really important to look at. That could still be a check if I haven't seen a bow. Oh, hey, speaking of the bow.
Oh.
So that is go mode.
That's go mode for So at 5950. 5950. Not a bad. Not. Wait, didn't I say that was going to happen? That Bo was going to be in one of these two dungeons.
I reckon so, actually.
Why? Why me?
I mean, I'm the one who rolled the bad seeds. This one was mostly just a reprieve.
I'm actually just trying to think. I was thinking that maybe for a split second, Lamp could be on pedestal, but that's absolutely not possible because you need Lamp for Meyer.
Yes. Yeah, because so technically speaking, So has illogical go mode, but it's just dark room. It's only for dark rooms. So as far as he's aware, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't need to worry.
Yeah, he's just gonna and conveniently actually, Pod and Eastern are his last two crystals.
Yeah, so that's actually really nice to find that bow where it is, because that does mean that all you really gotta do is just mirror after the pod clear, and you're done.
And yeah, Zeruvian points out, we dodge Pendant Swamp, and I'm legitimately surprised at that. I thought for sure, given how early it's been in play, that it would be, I mean, it might very well have the lamp, but I was thinking for sure Swamp was going to be the play.
Oh yeah, because that is a legal position for the lamp. The only thing that So really would like to see is that final sword. As far as So's concerned, he's not gonna get that vanilla sword from.
No, that's getting skipped. Although if silver arrows were to fall on his lap, I'm sure that'd be very much appreciated as well. And I don't think did we even see the front of Eastern? I don't think we did. I think runners were so allured by the early Dark World access that they just flat out didn't do Eastern Palace yet. To answer your question, chat, the second sword So picked up was in Meyer.
I think we never actually saw the front of Eastern. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, me too. Which is pretty funny considering that front of Eastern is a Sphere 0 location.
Yeah, it is one of the first checks it is a check you find right out of the start of the game.
Alright, Hitman's going through Meyer right now, so is going to be picking up Tempered Sword in a bit.
Yeah. So that will, as Rubian's pointing out, is actually that will give him sword advantage.
If we actually do end up pulling Lamp out of here, that means Eastern is going to be a forced double dip, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, which is interesting in terms of the logic. It doesn't matter because it doesn't matter in this case because So is go mode this, so you're not gonna see any checks come out of here.
Especially since yeah, we had a god EP, for lack of a better term, with an immediate big key.
Yeah. Which is really nice considering since Cannonball Chest was the first one that had that Eastern Palace key, and that also does mean that the back of Eastern Palace wasn't logic.
Yep, it was.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah, it isn't. It has. Or no. I take that back because it. I take that back because the lamp.
The bow was lamp locked.
Yeah. But if you were to isolate the dungeon by itself, that would have been in logic.
Right.
But big picture obviously said big picture isn't says that wasn't the case. So, but it now on the flip side, if a bow were to show up elsewhere instead of pod, then that would still have been in logic, but it probably would have been later on in the seed.
I'd be well annoyed if silvers end up being on the pedestal in this case.
Yeah, if that's the case, then you're forced to do a swordless fight. You're not wasting time to get that sword off that bow off the pedestal.
Well, Armos Knights did at least have a third empty bottle, so not going to say no to that either. And with a net in tow, we could even grab an extra fairy before the Ganon fight if we really needed it. But 14 hearts, red mail, an extra potion on hand. He's fine.
Yeah,
I hope.
There's nothing really that's going to stop him. And in that case, as we're talking about Ganon, there is a total of 21 checks on a single torch to make up a total of 22 possible locations for that GT big. And of course, one of them has them. So if you want to go ahead and put a number in the chat, feel free to do so. And if you get it exactly or are close to it, then cool, good on you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a somewhat unlucky 13 tonight, considering that, all things considering, this has been if you went to pod earlier, this would have been an incredibly jet seed.
I might as well just drop in my own number. I don't usually participate, but I'll drop in 10.
Chat is saying that the other bow was in Meyer. Was it on the cutscene chest?
It probably, if it was from cut. Okay. Oh. Ooh, it was in the big chest.
Huh.
So that does mean that Eastern Palace was in the back of Eastern Palace was in logic. It was in logic. But as I correctly predicted, it was going to be later in the game.
Fascinating. Also fascinating that So didn't pick that up.
I feel as if the reason has to be the Dorsey extension.
Oh, maybe.
The Dorsey extension. It had to have been it. Because I think because the Dorsey extension, he effectively left he effectively, and because where the big key was that, he didn't have to go the whole 9 yards all the way through. So no, that doesn't make any sense because hey.
Well, hey, you want another sword? Here's one on the torch.
Someone also said that Hitman would have had sword advantage if a sword wasn't in GT. And there you go.
Well, guess what? There's a sword in GT. Alright, so that's great news for everybody. Assuming everybody goes left, and assuming the big key's also just chilling in here as well, they're all going to have at least Tempered Sword for Ganon. In some cases, summoners might even have silvers. Alright, so 1 through 5 is no good, and we're going to see left to right is Dark Magician, right? Or am I getting my magicians mixed up?
I just don't really. I don't really know the whole semantics of what constitutes a DM route. I just prefer to. I'm just going to prefer to it as like a D. I just kind of refer to it as like in general DM routes. I don't really. It's not. There's specific reasons for it. The only thing you have to go full right for it to be a full-on DM route.
I gotcha.
I believe.
All right, well, so far we're through chest 7 now, thanks to Hope Room, and still no sign of that big key, and we're coming up on 8 through 11 now.
Yeah, Great Baby Bob's is saying it is DM room, then you have to go full right.
Okay.
But with Mirror in tow, this is going to be it's going to be left, right, left, which in a way is a DM route. It's some variant of a DM route, but I don't want to go into the soul semantics about what the various DM routes with an S are, because if I did, I'm gonna get some part of it wrong.
All right. Well, So's about to pick up the next bunch of checks here. Let's see. We're on 11 now. This is about to be 12. Zeke is actually just did a little save scum on the mushroom. There's Powder, though, in GT. Finding a lot of interesting stuff in GT so far.
That's actually really nice for So, because you could powder anti-fairies and use that to gain a fairy.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is actually what So does. Although, again, given this equipment, he's in pretty good shape for, again, 14 hearts, red mail, spare potion, and all that jazz.
Yeah, if anything, that would only be in case you need to have that extra protection. That's kind of completely unnecessary.
I see that So is deliberately burning his bombs here.
This is so that he can get to the powder quicker.
Oh, for quick swap. I getcha.
No, just so that it lines, so it falls nicely in the lap, but it doesn't really matter because we got the big key.
It was in number 14, the one guess after mine. Yeah. But to be fair, that does give the win to Crim TCW.
So hey, good on you.
So congratulations. All right, so looks like Hitman's now is going to pod now after finishing up Meyer. So Hitman's going to probably be getting Bow in a few. Well, actually, Hitman has Bow already because he got his from Meyer. Zeke will most likely follow suit here, so everybody's going to be getting different bows, and we might even see a few runners have silver arrows. Although, actually, Bow was where? Dark Maze? Hitman might actually skip that because the big key, if I remember, was in the basement.
The Dark Maze had the other bow, yes.
And we have an exceedingly large number of keys from the bow lock side, so...
Yeah, I reckon that you get one bow and that's it. There's no way you're going to get the other bow unless you're actively looking for it. And because the big key, and as Great Auntie Bub is pointing out as well, because the big key was in the Ruby basement, they're only just going to go and mirror from there. So, and considering that is, yeah, there's no way you're only going to get a maximum of a regular bow, and you're calling it a day from there.
Pretty much. Especially when it's been this long. When you're in Go -1 for a very long period of time, you start to get a little worried because, again, as I mentioned before, it comes down to whether or not everybody zigged while you zagged. And if you zagged and got the item, then you're feeling great. But if you zigged and you didn't get it and you're now almost last locationing it, then you're very much concerned.
For Great Justice?
What?
For Great Justice. Move every sig for Great Justice.
You're gonna have to enlighten me on that one.
The zig is literally the take out every zig for Great Justice. Yeah, that's from Zero Wing, the Genesis Zero Wing, which had the infamous translation, and the main ship is called a zig.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and that's where the infamous "all your bases are belong to us" line.
Oh no. Now I know where that came from. Unfortunately, I don't have a robotic voice generator on my setup, so I can't
I mean,
attempt to emulate it.
so for the record, I'm only mentioning this as like, I'm only mentioning this as again more of a historical thing, not as like in community thing. So.
Alright, well, So has finally burnt all of his bombs. I was about to say I'm sure he'd be well annoyed if bombs showed up in one of these chests.
And So was going to go ahead and hover Moldorm 2 and gets it.
And almost got bopped in the back.
Yeah. That obviously is not a Moldorm bounce. Though it would have been kind of funny if that actually did count towards it. But alas, no.
Alright, well, Aghanim, we're here a little earlier than scheduled, but hey, have a pair of orange balls. Sent back at you. Oh, 2 and 2 so far. Ooh, that first one went a little too low, so it's going to be a 2-2-1-1. Alright, there's Zeke's bow out of the Meyer big chest. Hitman and John, in the meantime, are just about wrapping up Pod.
Okay. Talking about slugs. This won't take us too long.
Nah, So's gonna make Ganon Esgar go out of here.
Yeah, there's the phase 1 and 2 are done like really quickly. Guys been practicing it for many seeds and many runs, so it doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, pretty much the only biggest source of trolling now is Ganon's excessive teleporting, which is known to troll runners on many occasions, such as almost right now.
Yeah, it would be nice to have him to kind of not have the seed be standardized.
Could you stop teleporting, please? Thank you.
Yeah, like have the teleports very standardized, and so gonna get information about the other bow, and we'll go for the long range torch glitch. Which, to be fair, it only makes sense because you don't have that's your only fire source that you have available to you.
I am very curious as to where this lamp is.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
It must have been in Swamp, because I can't think of any place else it could have been except maybe one of the Compass Chest of Eastern.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be like Swamp because it's item dense, and it's also it is of course a very legal position for it in terms of the logic. And as I say that does it for Jesus in the chat. I will get the official race time for you as soon as the bridge has been crossed over on the So side, and So will be able to finish this seed out with a time of 1:16:53, first on restream, and also taking the overall race.
Success.
Yeah,
as the Triforce just said.
Of the 20 people that has signed up for this race, So has managed to win it entirely.
Very well played. We will see if we can get him in here for an interview.
And yeah, this is like some of the best. This is a really good runner, all the way through. We have a good spectrum of players who've played, or a spectrum of talent, from all skill levels. here in this nice little race time room that we have. Yeah, it's overall not a bad seat. It was pretty generous, especially for my seats.
Yeah, I don't think this one was too bad. Really, the only thing that slowed you down was the bow, and I'm trying to think. I think in the case of these runners, given that there was a bow in Mire, it was just runners just decided not to dive that dungeon because what everybody decided to do here was go where the progression was, which was the known crystal dungeons, Ice, Thieves, Skull Woods, for example, and stuff was starting to pop up there, but it wasn't. For example, you had to do Thieves to get Samaria because it was on blind, so. Everybody followed the progression, which made a lot of sense, but it just meant that they didn't dive Mire as soon as I'm sure they would have liked for Bow. Or, in So's case, Pod.
It's another situation where it's one of those cases where you have to pick and choose which one you have to pick and choose which one you go into. It's because of the bow position being in a really awkward spot compared to the other compared to everything else. There really wasn't a really good way you could route the bow in and get the other one.
All right. Regrettably, I cannot communicate in the race time during this race, so I cannot inform So that he's welcome to join us.
I mean, yeah. That was more of a safety measure that was put into place.
Also, I just noticed the thing said Archer Boy So's again. What does that usually translate to for the item? Oh, no, wait, Archer Boy So's. It was sticks. It was 10 sticks. Sorry. Yeah. Need a minute to read that.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, I don't ever pay attention to the little specific details on what I say. Hitman will get the gold sword here.
All right, Zeke is in pod, so he's wrapping up. Everybody's in go mode, so we will be wrapping up here within the next roughly 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, and Zeke is like the only Zeke will join us in just a few, will join us join Snoo and Hitman into GT. Just have to get the pond user clear out of the way.
Yeah, it refers to the shovel spot, which was 10 sticks. Oh, So has just informed us that he has declined a booth interview, but will be in chat with us tonight. So first off, GG's to you. Congratulations on taking first place tonight. Turns out you ended up trying to find a word here. Braving the darkness to pick up your bow in pod. Turns out the bow everybody else picked up was in Mire Big Chest.
Yeah, because that was the one that was in logic. And as far as the lamp is concerned, we're under the impression that lamp could have been in swamp, as it only makes sense considering the density of it, and it's also a legal position for it.
Yeah, so I think in your case, you were the first to really prioritize clearing the dungeons, and that just let you clear out all the non-bow lock dungeons first, which led you to bow faster. Everybody else ultimately ended up doing the same thing, but put a little more effort into overworld checks, Hyrule Castle. And in Zeke's case, he was very late to his first sword, so couldn't use medallions right away. The sword that you ended up missing out on was on Uncle, I believe.
Yeah, that only sword. So of the sword locations that were available, the 4 sword locations were the Vanilla Uncle location, GT, Bob's Torch, Mire, or was it Mire?
Mire Lobby.
Mire Lobby, and then Ice Palace. So those were the four remaining, the four swords available. Which, I mean, to be fair, it only makes sense because for the runners from I get it. You either commit to the uncle route or you don't do it. It's the one of the first things you think of when you're playing open, especially in considering an open boots, where in addition to into the uncle route, you can also do the Saha Hut route, where you just bonk the door right away, and by extension, I kind of consider it as like the diet glitch mode start. At least my route in particular.
So saying that he decided to go for info density and got lucky with the bow since there was bow, sword. I'm getting my words jumbled all over the place tonight. Bow, sword, go mode, and 50-50 between Myron and P. And now, to that extent, I ask you, so did you start raising eyebrows when you saw the pendant come down after Vitreous? Did you start getting concerned about pedestal? Because we sure did.
Yeah, I don't think as far as like the if someone wasn't like if they weren't confident in it, I'd reckon they might be, but if someone who's like kind of looking at the pedestal, is like, okay, that is a possibility for this the bow can't show up on Peta as a possibility. It's a little concerning, but I'm hoping that doesn't have to be the case. And that I think is how I think that has to be said. I don't know. Okay, so is confirming that it is for sure because of the Lamo and being Lamo left and Swamp having the most density.
Yeah, at this point, like, again, the only thing we probably would have found in Swamp was the logical lamp, so that way we could actually finish up everything, but it was either Swamp or Eastern Palace Compass Chest, because interestingly, literally nobody dived Eastern Palace. Everybody put it off until Bo showed up, and they just zipped right through it because it was a god EP.
Yeah. I think this was one of the more interesting cases, where Eastern Palace becomes essentially left alone until the very end, and that normally, it's a Sphere 1 location, right? So it's a Sphere 1 location, so you have access to it right from the off, like right from the word go, and you could have totally went into it early as possible. And some people like to go early. Also, nice Moldorm 2 chest having the map of Hyrule Castle.
Oh, lovely.
Well, Jon Snow was going to hover too.
Too bad that's pretty much the most useless map ever.
And Jon Snow also got the hover.
Yeah, everybody's been having some fun with execution. Your hover and pod was actually quite impressive.
Yeah, and I mentioned this before. I mentioned this on comms. That is a really hard hover to do because you have to change directions twice in order to get it. I know Andy has pulled it off before. I know some people who can hover can actually. Some people could actually hit it. But I mentioned again, it is really, really hard because of the change in direction made hover. It looks like from the looks of things, Hitman and Jansu are in a deadlock to finish this out. They're actually really close together.
Yeah, they are. Strap yourselves in, folks. This is going to be real interesting.
It is really interesting because you're going to see two runners basically battling it out. It's an execution game at that point. Now, if this was just these two runners, this would be really, really, really high. And if it was something like on league territory, then you would have a lot of people just at the edge of their seats, and it would be really, really nice to actually see that play out. I guess while we're going through this, I'm gonna actually look at tonight's schedule here.
I think
Currently RTA in Japan is currently happening as we speak. Speed gaming is actually Speed gaming is once again participating in the English restream for that particular charity event. So as currently it looks like if my notes are correct, or is what it looks like is correct, and they're not like they haven't burned out ahead of schedule. Looks like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is being played. Then again, I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah, if it is, Sonic 2 is a really fast game, so that should be wrapping up soon. I will say, though, hour after that, you get Donkey Kong 64, and that, my friends, is quite a treasure of a game to see speedrun.
Yeah, it is a classic. It is a classic game. And then in following that up, currently on Speed Gaming 2, there's currently an Invite League matchup going on. And that matchup is oh, and there's Hitman taking down Ganon, so GG's for Hitman. Currently, that matchup is Gamachu versus Sailor Nep. Current Gamachu looking to put away the Titan's mitts and advance to the finals. Solar also GG's for Jon Snow in addition. So
yeah, we're gonna get some times to you here real quick. Hitman has finished second on Restream, 5th overall with a time of 1:29.10. Jon Snow 10 seconds later with a time of 1:29.20.
Exactly enough. The exact number for a fanfare snipe.
Fanfare snipe, did you say?
A fanfare snipe, yeah. 10 seconds for 10 seconds of fanfare.
Fascinating. Once again, GG's to both runners, and we will see if they join us for an interview.
Yeah, and as I'm surveying, actually, I'm putting in more information. Is currently game 4. They're playing hard map compass shuffle. So you're exactly what you're seeing right here on the screen. Except we have a hard item pool, so it restricts some of the things you can pick up. For one thing, you're stuck on green mail no matter what, and you're forced to do a Starfless Ganon fight, as we saw it in this restream. But afterwards, later on as well, as it is currently Wednesday Eastern, but on 2 p.m. Eastern, Andy and Shady Force will duke it out. No stream has been assigned yet, but also an our 9 o'clock daily race will also happen as well. And the mode in question is going to be Inverted Key Sandy, the so-called Mode of Kings. It looks like the Jon Snow and Hitman are together here. So we'll go ahead and drop them in right now. Need him to come on in.
Yep, the invite has been extended, so now it's just a matter of we'll see.
Inverted Key Sanity. That is what is called the Mode of Kings. Not Inversia. Inversia is fun as it is. But it's completely different in its own right.
Alright, yeah, you beat me to it.
Yeah, Zeke got the big key, so he's on his way to run up the tower, and just finish this out.
Geez, 17 hearts red mail. You think everybody was okay for defense this seed?
Yeah. Oh, I'm dumb. So Zeke, so as Ruby's pointing out, for the league match, it is going to be Inversia for the Andy and Shady Force matchup. But at 9 o'clock, we are playing Inverted Keys. So yeah, that's the important distinction between the two. Expect this coming day, at least in Eastern, to be a lot of inverted. And like I mentioned before, as I mentioned too, RTA in Japan is still going on, and we're streaming restreaming that on Speed Gaming 1. So if you are interested in seeing what the Japanese community has to offer in terms of speedruns or RTAs or real-time attacks as they're called over there, give the restream, the English restream, a watch. You have some really good talent there.
We're being joined in the Twitch chat by a couple of our other finishers, Akuhish and Lana Bean. Akuhish just managed to snipe the podium away from Lana Bean, took third with a 128.17. Lana 128.27. Seems like 10 seconds is the distinctive time differential between runners tonight.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and drag these two up here.
Very well.
Hello, Hitman. Hello, Jon Snow. GG's to both of you.
Oh, GG's.
Well, that was a very, very interesting seed. So why don't we start with first of all, the two of you finishing 10 seconds apart. Again, well played to both of you.
We were talking about the time differences on it, and that's crazy. He got the bow out of Meyer, and I got the one out of Pod, that's just nuts.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. We were wondering, all seed is like, okay, so the bow was in Pod, so where's the lamp? And the only two places we can think of are Eastern Palace Compass Chest, because literally nobody dived Eastern before go mode. Number one. Number two was Pendant Swamp, which I suspected for a long time because the game was literally screaming at people to go there.
Oh yeah, like honestly, if it wasn't a pendant, I would have went in there while I was cleaning up South Shore. And there was a strong urge in me to just go into there regardless of the fact, but I really wanted to wait until I got mitts, and then I got mitts on a mini Moldorm cave because I'd stayed out of logic for as long as I possibly could. I don't know why either. I was just having fun with it. I went to the mountain completely out of logic, and I just tried to wait to piece things together, and then I was like, well, by the time I piece it all together, there's no reason for me to go to Swamp, so I'm not going there anymore.
Yeah, the mitts were in certainly a weird spot with mini Moldorm cave, but the interesting Moldorm claims his first victim of the night, by the way.
Ooh.
But there was John, you ended up missing one of the swords, which I think the sword you missed was it the Uncle sword?
Yes.
Or was it? Yeah.
No, I grabbed Uncle.
Well, then it must have been it wasn't ice. It must have been Meyer Lobby.
Yeah, Meyer Lobby is definitely the sword if there's other people finishing with butter, because the other sword was on torch. I had tempered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
all right, so that does answer that. That does solve that question of ours.
So here's another question for the two of you. When the Meyer pendant came down, did you start getting? Well, actually, who was it? Sorry, I didn't get a chance to recognize icons. Who was it that got the bow in Pod amongst the two of you?
John did.
John, okay. Yep. So, John, were you concerned when you saw the Meyer pendant fall down?
So I didn't know that Meyer was a pendant, actually. Whenever I got the map out of Basement Stalfos room in Pod, I bailed for a second, checked the map to see if Meyer was a pendant. I was like, cool, I'm gonna finish Pod. I just went back in.
Yeah, because we realized when we saw the pendants, like, wait a minute, bow could totally be on pedestal if we hadn't known already that there was a bow in Meyer.
Yeah. I was very hopeful that there is a bow possibly in either Pod or Sphere Zero in Eastern. So after Pod, I was going to go into Eastern.
Yeah, what ultimately happened is just about all of you, you prioritized the crystal dungeons after basically after you've gotten your Dark World smorgasbord, because let's be honest here, Dark Overworld was pretty loaded today.
Mm-hmm.
And Death Mountain also had some pretty good stuff as well. But by the time you were all starting to kind of dive dungeons for your progression around the same time. So ended up doing that a little on the earlier side. and it led him to pod faster, where he picked up Bo that way.
I want to rewatch it to where I could see what decisions so made, because dang, 10 minutes is no joke.
Yeah, definitely must have done the pod play pretty early.
Yeah, not as far as a sequence of events are concerned. It was his second to last dungeon dive, just like the rest of yours. He just ended up going down the chain earlier.
Makes sense.
Literally everybody ended up following the same path. Zeke is just about wrapping up now on Ganon, but I think what slowed Zeke down is, number one, he was late to his first sword. So he wasn't able to dive TR right away, for example. Right. Or Maya, for that matter. So that's what kind of slowed him down a bit. Other than that, you all pretty much started taking the same route after you picked up Thieves Town Kane.
One thing I will point out too was that Zeke was attempting to go in to get the get money off of the arrow game, but didn't get the correct setup for it. Also want to be also not getting torch glitch, so want to be so it shouldn't be too much of an issue because of half magic, but it's going to be a little bit of a wonky finish. Or a wonky fight, for that matter.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Was he going for the setup on the NPC or trying to do 99 strats?
Going for the NPC strat. I don't.
Okay.
For one thing, I don't know how to set up 99 strats.
It's a rhythmic pattern that you follow. It's every 2.5 blocks, you just move left, up, shoot, move left, up, shoot. It's a pattern that you got to get used to, though.
Yeah.
Alright, looks like Zeke actually did not get torch glitch. Does have half magic. I didn't even see where that popped up.
I don't recall it either, but I mentioned it earlier because yes, it's going to be a wonky fight, but it shouldn't be a big issue. Case in point.
Yep, that is going to be it for Zeke.
Also, nice Super NT, by the way.
Thank you.
Super NT buddies, and I'm also going to get SNES as well in the future.
Hey, my hovers are supported with pay to win, okay?
But Zeke will finish 4th on a restream. Official time is 1:40:15. Be finishing 12th overall.
Very nice. Again, GG to all of our runners. They put on a fantastic show for you here tonight.
This was definitely a good seed to practice dark rooms.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yes.
This is a bona fide dark room seed. If you, I implore people to actually practice the dark rooms. Also, hi Zeke.
The hand.
Zeke, you there?
Oh, is Zeke's mic muted?
Zeke,
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
GG's.
GG's, dude.
GG's.
So, Zeke, what are your thoughts on the seed?
I'm guessing everyone else went to pod.
Well, it's funny that, actually, all of you ended up taking the same endgame route, for the most part. The difference mainly being when you all went down the path of starting to clear crystal dungeons. Because Zeke, you took a little extra time doing overworld checks, trying to get extra money off of Arrow Game, and missing out on the first sword for a little bit. But other than that, you all basically took the same route after you got Kane out of Thieves.
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to.
I'll be honest, up until Ganon said, "Did you find the arrows in Dark Palace?" I thought the first bow was going to be on Dig Game after everyone's route.
We were honestly concerned because at the time we did not know that Meyer had a bow because So was the first one to clear Meyer, but he skipped it because he did the door extension glitch. But we thought for a minute Bo could have been on pedestal, and it could very well have been.
Yeah, it was possible.
Yeah, with that layout, definitely possible. Honestly, that's one of the reasons I actually went into Desert Palace first. Get the green pendant, turn it into Saha, find out what Eastern was going to be and everything else to kind of go along with it and really just kind of prep for it, but at the same time, don't. Just in case, you know?
Yeah, something that was also interesting is that none of you, and I mean none of you, dived A, Eastern before go mode, and B, never touched Swamp Palace.
Except for the fronts.
I touched the
except for-
first check.
Yes, there was that first check, but other than that, no one dived Swamp. I just realized what I said. Nobody dived Swamp proper.
Ayo, I cannot lie. And a lot of my friends know this too. If I get a lot of Swamp's items Sphere 1, I will go into Swamp. However, whenever Mountain gave me Hammer, I was like, nah, that doesn't make sense. There's no reason for me to go into Swamp yet. And then whenever all the other pieces started coming together, I was like, dude, there's no way that Swamp has a bow. At this point,
we thought TR was going to be a pendant just because of how fast you got Fire, Ice, and all the medallions.
one of the first maps you got actually was TR, so that's immediately what I checked.
What was with all the early medallions today?
I have
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea.
It was everybody got their coin collection achievements nice and early.
It was actually pretty insane how early we got them all.
Yeah, and two of them were like right next to each other. Ether was in Thieves Hideout. Quake, I think, was in. Was it either Back of Escape or Sahasra's Closet? It was one of those triple chests.
Back
it
of
was
Escape.
Back of Escape, okay. And Bamos was back at the tavern.
Quake was Blind Hideout, wasn't it?
Something.
I had all of them
honestly,
coming
had
out
to
of,
been
we got
early.
all three of those medallions so
I
early
had
in this
all
first
three of them
year.
coming out of CAC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't even remember.
It was Fire Rod that was in Blind's Hideout. But yeah, again, how did you both? Not both. How did all of you feel from a defense standpoint, having red mail right out the gate, pretty much?
I can run my face into things more.
I abused it heavily because, spending 40 minutes on a sword, I can't exactly just bat the enemies away.
Right.
So I might as well just run into them face first instead.
Yeah, we saw that you unfortunately had to double dip Hera before getting Hammer out of Paradox.
Just one more time loss on the pile.
I know you like swordless, Zeke, but man, swordless doesn't mean stay away from the sword, my friend. Come on, man.
I saw no reason to go to Uncle after starting Sanctuary.
Honestly, I don't blame you. I really don't. Because, honestly, it was funny. Whenever I first started, I always start with Uncle. But, the moment I got Glove, I was half tempted to just immediately save and quit and just go to Sanctuary. But I was like, no, just go to Uncle. And then I found the sword. I was like, oh, okay, cool, free escape.
It was funny because Professor Renderer and I were talking at the start of the race, and Professor Renderer, I think you had said, I want this seat to be a divergence heavy seat, and lo and behold, we had Dark World access in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was very divergent. It was a very, very divergent seed.
Again, you all eventually started meeting up, but until you met up, and I don't think it was actually at Thieves when everybody met up. It was around actually Ice Palace when everybody started to take the similar routes, but and especially Meyer afterwards, but TR and Meyer afterwards, but yeah, you were all pretty much all over the map when you were putting together your when you were looking for that bow.
You would not believe how tempted I was to just turn around and go to Ice Palace before doing Uncle. I told myself I had to do Uncle in case there was a sword there.
My first time fluting to 8, I was like, yo, I can go into Ice. And then I looked at my magic and I was like, yo, I'm not going to Ice. So I finished the Zora area that I never touched the whole time. And I was like, save, quit, flute to 3, get the magic there, and then go to Ice Palace, I guess.
I'm not the only person who ended up using that magic tree at 3.
Oh, absolutely.
Nope.
Kidding me? The best tree in the world.
I did a fake powder to check for a bow in case it was there, so I could go mode
Okay,
fire.
I was gonna do that, but whenever I jumped off the pit, I missed the well, and I was so confused. So I was like, I'm just leaving.
So I actually know how that happens, John.
Explain.
If you quick hop, it puts you just a touch farther.
I hate it. You mean to tell me the one muscle memory that I developed for NMG I can't do there?
It'll do it on the cack well jump as well.
No, wait, does it? No, I've
Yes.
always quick hop off
If you're
there.
holding down and quick hopping, you'll walk off.
Oh, the holding down part. Got it.
Okay.
I don't hold down on the Kakariko Well one because I probably subconsciously knew about it. But so it doesn't matter though on the Magic Bat one though, huh?
No, you still have to hold down.
Okay.
You still have to hold down when jumping off to walk out of the pit.
Right.
My favorite thing to know for those pits, for fun fact, is if you don't quick hop and hold up, you'll just push endlessly against the wall of the pit until you stop holding up.
Dang, almost everyone's done.
Yeah, the seed basically sorted itself out. If you just kept on following your dungeons, eventually you were going to find everything. It wasn't going to be like a stupid, like, maybe it's on pedestal, maybe it's here, but nah, everybody, it was... If you were clearing dungeons, you were going to find it eventually. Regardless of whether it was going to be the pod bow or the Meyer bow. But that being said, I don't have any more questions for for you folks who are on Restream today. Anything else that you folks want to say before we close out?
Just thanks for the restream.
This is my
Yeah,
first.
thanks everybody.
Always a pleasure to get to show off, especially with a new sprite.
I showed off a lot. I'd probably say I like boots, man.
Yeah, I already said the schedule. Yeah, and that should do it. Just give everyone a follow. They're putting in a lot of work, and they put in a really good stream for you. And that was a really good stream. There was a lot of different things happening at once. Still divergent. All that's just the way I like it. Shout outs to Geekseguro and Claymore 729 as our trackers, and of course Captain MD has been good. It's always a nice to come with you, man.
No problem. Always happy to be joining you in the booth for these.
Yeah. So, with that being said, hope you have a nice rest of your day or wherever you are, and yeah, just take it easy and peace out.
Take care, folks. See you next time.